Yo, so it's almost tax time, so I figured I'd do this video. Yes, tax write-offs are keeping you broke. Now let me explain. This is more so for all of my business owners. Now, I see a lot of people that want to get business funding. They want to buy a home or, just get access to money, period, from lending institutions. And I would say about 95% of people cannot get access to loans and lines of credit from these lending institutions. Now, I'm not talking about credit cards. That's easy. I'm talking about the big boy shit, okay? Large lines of credit and large loans, like, over 10,000, maybe over 20,000. And most people fail at this. I'm going to explain why. It all has to do with your tax write-off. See, people will make some money through their business and then put the business at a loss on their tax return so that they can get a little ass refund from the IRS. It may be 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000, depending on your dependents and, whatever your tax person can finesse. And for that little bit of money, people mess up their financial future, okay? So if you're a business owner and you're getting a refund, you are royally fucking yourself because what you're doing is you're putting your business at a loss. So when you decide, hey, I want to buy my first home or I want to buy a piece of real estate, and these lending institutions say, hey, send me your business tax returns. They're going to look at your business tax returns. And once they see that loss, well, you no longer qualify, right? Just put it like this. If you are a sports bettor, right, you're betting on sports, and you say, hey, bro, I need to hold a quick $10,000 so I can bet on these couple games this week. And I ask you, well, how much, have you won any parlays? Like, what's your record? And you be like, oh, I've been losing the past 2 years. Why would I give you $10,000? Right? And this same thing goes for the SBA. So right now, the SBA, they're giving out large lump sums of money to business owners, and it's a very easy process to go through to get this money. But they require a positive tax return, right? So when people are submitting their tax returns to the SBA, they're like, nah, you've lost money. Why would we give you money, right? And you did all of this because you wanted a little bit of money from the IRS for a write-off. Which I get, you don't want to pay taxes, but this is the consequence of not paying taxes, okay? And trying to swindle your way, swindle money out of the government from the IRS, right? Although it's legal, you're finessing, okay? And you're only finessing yourself. So I see this same thing when it comes to buying a home, but on the side of the SBA, right? So if you want to get an SBA loan, let me explain to you how it works. With the SBA, they're going to look at your business income after your write-offs, okay? So after these write-offs, let's just say you had a positive 100,000. The SBA will lend you 50% of that money, okay? The SBA, they'll give you 50%, so they'll give you $50,000 on that 100. So anybody out there that is looking to get an SBA loan, look at your tax return, okay? If you're in the negative, it's not happening. If you're in the positive, subtract 50% from that number after your write-off, and that is how much the SBA will lend to you as far as a loan. I see people all the time, hey, I want to get 100,000, I want to get 50,000 from a bank or from, SBA, but the reason why they can't is because they're royally fucking themselves on their tax returns. All right. Now here's the other thing. When it comes to Navy Federal, Bank of America, you want to get these large loans and lines of credit, they're going to ask for your tax returns. And guess what they're going to look at? Were you in the positive or were you in the negative? Okay. And they have their own formula. Now, there are these alternative lenders out here. For example, Big Think Capital. They're going to look at your bank statements. All right. So people have businesses, and then when they send their bank statements, it's like, okay, you made 5,000 this month, but you only made 1,000 this month. That's not lendable. Okay. There has to be a consistency. You're making, 5,000, 10,000, 8,000. Like there has to be some sort of consistency. And then they come up with an average. And normally with these companies like Big Think Capital, they're going to give you the average of what you're making monthly. So if you're making $30,000 a month, every month, they're going to give you $30,000. They're not going to give you $300,000. Okay. When it comes to these larger loans, larger lines of credit, you have to have a higher income. And that higher income has to be on your tax return. Okay. This is what a lot of people are missing, why people can't get access to real capital outside of these credit cards, because you're fucking yourself on your tax return. So it's a give and take, right? Now, when it comes to buying real estate, yes, you can get around your tax return and do bank statements. However, you're going to have a higher interest rate. You're going to have a larger down payment. Okay. And again, there needs to be some consistency in your bank statements, right? If you have some months where you're in a negative or you aren't making money, again, ask yourself, would you lend somebody money that is losing money? I use the analogy of the sports betting, right? Would you give somebody $10,000 that loses every parlay? Think about that. No. Now, if they're consistent every week or every month and they have a high percentage win, of course you would. They're reporting that win. They have the proof that they're winning. But if all they have is proof and a track record of losses, why would you give them money? And this is what people miss when it comes to business funding, getting access to business credit, or buying a home, or lines of credit, large lines of credit, to be able to really make moves out here. You're fucking yourself on your tax returns. It's really a simple concept. So you got to pick and choose. Do you want to get a little bit of money from the IRS? Do you want to pay? If you're in the positive, you're going to have to pay to the federal government. But again, like I said, when it comes to getting access to real finances and doing real things out here in the world, a positive tax return can take you a long way.